course, Trump is throwing it back to the bad old days on this Juneteenth with another George Wallace-style threat to those who don't support his reelection. He tweeted, "Any protesters, anarchists, agitators, looters, or lowlifes who are going to Oklahoma, please understand you will not be treated like you have been in New York, Seattle, or Minneapolis. It will be a much different scene!" Exclamation point. I'm joined now by the Reverend Al Sharpton, president of the National Action Network and host of Politics Nation; Claire McCaskill, former Democratic senator from Missouri; Donna Edwards, former Democratic congresswoman of Maryland; and Philip Rucker, White House bureau chief for the Washington Post. And Rev, I want to start with you. Donald Trump goes for the George Wallace card over and over again. And as somebody who is a civil rights leader, as well as our colleague and friend here at MSNBC, but somebody who's experienced this firsthand in the streets, as somebody, making those kind of utterances, you face them. What do you make of that kind of language coming out of the President of the United States on Juneteenth?
I think that it is offensive. I think that it is insulting, and it's provocative. There's been one incident here a few days ago where a man was killed. There's been threats, yet people are here in Tulsa, where I am going to the festivities here around Juneteenth, and they're not here as lowlifes. They're here to, in many ways, commemorate what was done to our forefathers, and to say that just like they fought and had to wait 2.5 years before it was proclaimed in Texas that they were free, even though the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed 2.5 years before that. They fought that struggle into Reconstruction, into the era of Jim Crow, and kept fighting. We're in the era of dealing with policing. We're dealing with disproportionate health services in the middle of a pandemic. And we are the children of those that had to deal with Juneteenth. And we have the strength to fight. And we're not fighting with threats or with violence. We're fighting with pride and dignity to finish the route and to finish the trail our forefathers set. And that's how you celebrate Juneteenth. In this city in particular, Joy, where the biggest massacre of that time, 1921, when they leveled off this area where I am and killed hundreds of blacks in what was called Black Wall Street. That is why it is of particular importance that I come spend a few hours with them, as they had asked me to come. The family of Terrence Crutcher, who was killed by a policeman. They were acquitted and then went to another neighboring county and became a member of law enforcement again in the sheriff's office. That is indicative of why we need bills passed where you cannot go with people that have a record of bad policing and just continue in law enforcement. So there is ground zero here in terms of showing the massacre that came after many decades after Juneteenth, but many decades later, we're fighting to make sure that police are subject to the law and not above the law. And the president coming, I think one thing quickly that I would add, it is amazing to me that he is saying he didn't know what Juneteenth Day was. He grew up in New York, which is 2/3 black and Latino. If he didn't know, it showed his insensitivity and him being out of touch. So either he did know and is not telling the truth, or he doesn't know, which shows that he is culturally deficient and shouldn't be the president of the United States.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.